Chapter 14. It has been a week since I left Montfort. I have been able to take shelter in sheds and barns locked for the winter without much difficulty. The ability to climb means that I never have to force a door open. At worst, I have removed a pair of planks. As for nourishment, it was not hard either. There are several kinds of victims. Some villages have sentries who walk around with a lantern. The light they carry makes them visible from hundreds of meters away, which I find very thoughtful of them. I have but to follow the signal and blood is to be found. There's also the odd travelers. A surprising amount of people move at night for one reason or another: merchants coming back home, doctors, soldiers on leave. It is enough. If I ever grow desperate, I can always remove a layer of clothes and knock on a door with desperation on my face, although I shall do this as a last resort. I have followed him and his advice to stay on the move and to leave no body to be found. The best way to do so, I find, is to not create one to begin with. It seems that tonight will be the exception. I am reaching the end of settled land and have started to skirt Choctaw territory, moving east. This used to be native country as well, but it changed hands when a certain governor decided that respecting treaties only applied when the other side had a modern army. I noticed that since passing Mobile, the land and its people have grown increasingly rough. Case in point. Your turn, Boke. I stand at the edge of a small clearing. A hound is attached to the opposite end and is voraciously devouring a piece of charred meat. Two patched tents sit on both sides of a small fire and the ground is littered with half-chewed bones and empty bottles. The culprits are three filthy men in their 20s who roar in laughter when a thrown knife kisses the cheek of a slave bound to a tree, eliciting a small whimper. I frown in disapproval. I understand playing with your prey, but there is something about this situation that bothers me. The black man shows courage in the face of defeat. Surely, this warrants some sort of respect, no? The situation is quite clear to me. The slave escaped, was successfully tracked down, and now he will be returned, judged and punished according to the Black Code. The way they torture him and shed his blood for no reason feels wasteful and disrespectful of the prey and the hunt. Those people disgust me, and I am thirsty, so we shall see forthwith if they truly are the predators they believe themselves to be. I retreat and hide my backpack as well as my precious rifle. I quickly don my most tattered dress, leave my travel cloak on the ground and return to the camp. After some deliberation, I decide to bare one white shoulder for them to see. The bait is set. I take the hunched posture of the victim and cross my arm in a protective gesture. I step into the clearing, let out a loud gasp and deliberately step on a branch. The dog starts growling. The three men fail to notice me. Unbelievable. Only when the slave's eyes grow wide, do they turn around. I have maintained my frightened deer expression for a solid 10 seconds now. Heavens, how much effort I am wasting trying to turn this into a proper contest. I could have broken two of the ruffian's neck and the last one would still be giggling like a cretin while scratching his privates. I really hope they will do better from now on. Well, sweet thing, are you lost? Don't you worry, me and the boys will take real good care of you, won't we lads? Says the leader, a gangly man with a cruel face. Yeah, replies a short man with a bushy beard and a lazy eye. The third man just stands there with an absent smile. A trail of drool drips down his chin. And just like that, my interest in a verbal exchange has died down. There is little cause for a battle of wit when my opponents are so obviously unarmed, so I let out a distressed yelp and turn to flee. As expected, the three launch themselves after with drunken laughter. I am forced to slow down so that they do not lose my trail. We eventually reach another clearing and I veer left, then I hide at the base of the tallest beech tree I can find. The trio reaches the clearing and the leader scowls. He makes a hand gesture and they separate to start to look for tracks. Should have taken the dog, says the leader. That would not have saved you. I wait a bit until they are properly split, then I let one foot hanging out of my hiding spot. As soon as the closest lot looks in my direction, I snap a branch and his eyes land on it. I hope he is dumb enough to fall for that more than obvious ploy. He is. I am not surprised, but still a bit disappointed. I see from the corner of my eye the man, the bearded one called Boke, gesture at his friends to join him. Of course, they are already too far from each other to notice, and so he would have to call them, warning me that I am spotted. Or he could take me by surprise. Boke is eminently predictable. I know he will prefer to end the chase as fast as possible, and I also know why. He is after another kind of sport. As the man creeps ever closer with all the subtlety of a drunken bull in a china shop, the wind blows and I catch a waft of his musk. Oh my God! Do I really want to drink from him? Can I truly not catch any diseases? I am afraid that I will have to burn that dress afterward, or risk being noticed from a mile away. How can a man allow himself to be so revolting? How has his nose not fallen off yet? Ah, this is getting worse and worse. The man extends a filthy hand to catch my leg, and at the last moment, before he can stain my sock beyond anyone's ability to wash it, I move. 2 fingers close on his airway without drawing blood, yet I smile to him and make sure he sees the 8 fangs. I start whispering, "Congratulations, you caught," and I freeze. The man just soiled himself. I thought the smell could not possibly get any worse. I was sorely mistaken. TCH, you insufferable swine. I stop again. Something is crawling from his beard to my arm. My eyes widen in shock as my enhanced vision reveals the unwelcome transient. Lice. HSSS. Oh, that is IT. I punch the man in the throat, grab his arm and bite deep. In the safety of my refuge, I ignore both the rush of life and my memories to stare at the echo of the silent watcher. Don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. Gah! With a last shiver of revulsion, I drop the bloody arm and the corpse it is attached to slumps on the ground. I made a bit of a mess and I silently scold myself. I should not, in any circumstances, waste blood. Still. Boke. The leader is walking in my general direction with a scowl. I push the horrendous remains in a recess and walk forward in the clearing as if I were trying to be stealthy. I then seemingly notice the leader and run away with a scream of terror. The leader smiles and sprints, all thoughts of his friend promptly forgotten. We race for half a minute, during which the man manages to promise me that I will like it, threaten me if I don't stop, call me a dumb whore, and compliments my rear. Really, what is it with men and my posterior? Should I ask? Eventually, I pretend to fall. The gangly Lolif stops to savor the sight of his target crawling on the ground. The glint in his eye is quite telling, and so is the way he licks his lips. Then I turn my head and fix a random spot in the tree. Behind you! I scream in terror. The man frowns and turns away, only for 2 talons to grab his neck. I said, I add in a sultry voice, behind you. I took my time enjoying the leader and I am now sated. The thirst has left me for the night and I now face a dilemma. Should I slay the simpleton in front of me, or let him go free? I am not confident about my ability to make him forget. When I drew from travelers on my way here, the bite and a look were always enough to send them off with no recollection of the event. A chase that resulted in the disappearance of friends, however, is another issue altogether. If I let him leave, will he speak of a blonde woman in a tattered dress? In the best-case scenario, informed parties might recognize the influence of a vampire. In the worst case, they could start a manhunt. He is dangerous. And yet is any of this truly his fault? He looks too dim to understand the evil of his ways. His friends were quite possibly a bad influence. Am I not being too hasty? I am already feeling just a little tipsy. Could vampires get drunk from too much blood? Surely not. You woman. I found you. says the dullard as he finally notices me. He then proceeds to unhook his belt and lower his pants. Do you like the servant girl? Well, that settles it. Tee. Oh, but what a beautiful night it is. So nice and quiet, and peaceful, and the weather is so clement. Why, I could have a tea party under the moon. And the silent watcher. Except, with no tea, please. Instead, we could have gentlemen on the table and Jimena and Constanza could be there. And the gentleman would be completely nude. Nude. But first I have to clean up the bodies because Jimena said I should, and Jimena is my best friend in the whole world. So, I bring them together. It is so easy. The idiot was already there, so I went to pick up the leader, and it took me a little bit to find him, but eventually I did, and then I brought him and piled them, and then I found the stinky one, but he is too gross, so I took the belt from the idiot and wrapped it around his leg, and then I tied it to the head of the idiot. Now I only have to drag the idiot to move both of them. Genius. Ariane, the light of your intellect truly shines upon this world. So, I take the leader's belt and attach his head to the idiot's leg, and now I can just return to the camp in one go with all 3 corpses. My ability to innovate knows no bounds. So, I pick the leader and start to drag and fall on my face. Heavy. I spit out a few leaves and stare up at the silent watcher. You didn't see anything. It watches. Fine. But don't tell anyone, I am serious. I continue between 2 grunts. I have a reputation to uphold. I navigate myself and the corpse train back to the camp and only fall twice and bump against one tree. Ariane, queen of dexterity. As I reach the clearing, the dog starts barking and howling, so I roar once and it quiets down with a whimper. Good dog. I drop my luggage and look around for a shovel. There are no marshes around, so I would be better off burying the bodies. Oh, but wait. I turn around and burp. A trail of blood drips from my chin. Ariane, manners. Ah yes, I remember now. The captive. I move closer and the black man looks at me with a surprising amount of calm. Why, how courageous. My mouth is positively covered in the red liquid and still, he does not flinch. Greeting, princess. Huh? Did he just? The man leans forward despite the ropes biting in his wrist and offers his jugular. That is so unusual and so exciting. He spoke the tongue. And he was so polite by calling me Nine, a princess. And this submissive position, I feel that I should not hurt him. Why, I am curious now. I was going to kill him cleanly, but now I just have to hear what he has to say. The words escape my lips, unbidden. Supplicant. The man almost collapses in relief. What? He was that anxious? Princess, would you please free my hands? It is a reasonable request, and besides, he cannot kneel properly as he is. The position of supplicant is all wrong. Very well. I walk to him and cut the ropes with a few swipes with my talons. Just like a cat. Tee-ha-ha-ha. Now the man massages his wrists. Well, where is my kneeling supplicant? He freezes and slowly kneels and, again, offers his throat to me. Just so. Now, I am satisfied. So I stop growling. You may rise. He does not move, and so I sigh. You may rise. Silly Ariane, you cannot expect every human to know the tongue. Bah. What is your name? Tassam. A Creole. That might explain it. He is acquainted with the Ekon, maybe even that scandalous girl Nami. Possibly. How do you know how to address me? Princess, there is a Boker who goes from plantation to plantation. He speaks to us of the voodoo and the way of magic. He also told us of the Loa, the Loup-Garou, and the Pale Ones. He said that if one meets a Pale One outside at night, he should greet them politely, and pray they are feeling merciful. I hold my hands up. This is a fascinating tale, but I now have a most urgent matter to attend to. I rush to the nearest bush. Ooh. I throw up blood. It stinks. There is no vitality to be found in it, at all. Bah. I should not have drunk so much, but, well, I did not want all that life to go to waste. Hick. When I come back, the sun has not moved an inch. Droplets of cold sweat have gathered on his brow, however, despite the chill. What is a loup-garou anyway? A werewolf. A cursed soul who turns into a horrible monster under the light of the moon. It is said that it is as tall as 2 men, covered in fur, and strong enough to shred metal. Only by silver can it be slain, but it is no small task. For the beast is terrifying, its maw is like that of a wolf and lined with nightmarish. Ooh, so that's what it was. Well, it was delicious. Full of life and power. I wonder if I can catch another one? Toussaint does not reply, but he smells afraid again. Was it something I said? Bah. So you presented yourself as a supplicant. Now tell me, what is your request? I would like to live. I tap my index against my chin and ponder those words. He would like to live. Well, it does sound reasonable, I suppose. I cannot stomach another human anyway. I could let him go? Toussaint, I wish I could, but I really cannot have someone spread tales of my passage. You see, I grab his shoulder and lean closer because it's a secret. I am trying to move incognito. He winces. Yes, that is it. Tee. That is not an issue, princess. He replies with the barest trace of panic. I can swear an oath on the Loa. So? If I lie, my soul will burn in hell for all eternity. The Bandai will never forgive me. Give me your hand. I lightly bite him and stare in his eyes. You meant to betray me? No, princess. The San is a man of honor. Do you believe that if you break an oath to the Loa, your soul will go to hell? Of course. He answers, scandalized. Very well then. I will consent to let you go. In return, you will help me bury the bodies. Princess. Truly. He licks his lips, hope clear as day on his face. Yes. Now swear. I expected a hastily cobbled up sentence. Instead, the man actually builds a small altar of wood and soot and mutters a long prayer, complete with a loud proclamation of demise should he break his word. How queer. I was having a perfectly reasonable night and suddenly, something completely out of the ordinary happens, a heathen ceremony. That is so quaint. After he is done, Toussaint finds a small gully and we drop the bodies there and then cover them with earth and heavy stones so that wild animals don't dig them up. Tada! They are gone. Ariane, queen of prestidigitation. We walk back to camp one last time. Toussaint assures me that he knows where he intends to go, that he will take care of the men's belonging and their dog as well. He also gives me some directions without prompt. On this note, we part ways. The expression of grateful incredulity he shows me when I leave is so touching. He is, as my father would say, a good lad. With his advice, I quickly find shelter in a natural cave system, and although it is still quite early, I decide to call it a night. Chapter 15. Yesterday did not happen. Nope. It did not. Nothing embarrassing happened, at all. The blood on my chin and clothes. A hunting accident. I was hunting a deer. Yes, a deer. A vicious one. I walk on a trail that skirts the border between Louisiana proper and the native lands. Despite yesterday's excess, I already feel thirsty. I am also feeling a bit lonely. I never anticipated this to happen. I have been on the road for only a week, yet a simple conversation with this human, Toussaint, reminded me of what I had forfeited. I want to talk to someone, I want to learn something new, discuss ideas. I do not want to turn into some sort of hermit. I find it impressive that the Mandanery asserts itself so easily. When I was attending the red-haired bitch queen, I wanted nothing but to be left alone. When I was in the gauntlet, I wanted nothing but entertainment, and now I want company. It is humanity's lot to always crave for more, and death has not made me an exception. I sigh and shoulder my backpack. I now have exactly 3 outfits, with one being the battle dress with a hole in the chest. I should have brought a sewing kit. I was too hasty when I skirted Mobile. I should have stopped and resupplied. The fact that I need no food blinded me, and I stop on the trail. I have been walking in mostly forested land for 2 days now. Between the hills, the tree trunks and the occasional rock, visibility is limited despite my eyes. I close them. I hear the cracks and groans of living wood, distant birds, the wind. Strange, I could swear that I felt something, not the auras I associate with magical beings, but something weaker and less alive. I start walking again a bit faster and leave the trail for the top of the nearest hill. My instincts have never betrayed me. Something is off. I reach the top and look around, nothing but trees and silence. I climb the tallest tree I can find using my claws to dig in. Still nothing, and now my fingers are sticky with sap. The feeling comes and goes again, both closer and stronger. I still have no idea what it could be, yet I can think of only one explanation. Someone or something is tracking me. Should I run for it? Can I? Running makes me thirsty, and finding blood here would be difficult if I have to rush it. Should I ambush them? That would be pointless if they know my exact location. Perhaps they cannot. I believe whatever is tracking me to do the magical equivalent of yelling to find someone in the forest, and the person yells back. I need more information. I shall hide and wait to see what it is, and at the first sign of danger, I shall be gone like the wind. After half an hour, the feeling comes back. It is exactly as it was, that I can say. Someone is hunting me, I am sure of it. However, they stopped. I wait half an hour more without change. The feeling does no return, and the implication scares me. It is likely that whatever is doing this knows my approximate location. It decided to stop when it noticed me doing the same, and I finally understand why. Time is against me. If they can track me during daylight, I am finished. Most vampires protect themselves by slumbering in fortresses defended by loyal followers. This was made obvious during the fortress raid. I have none of those defenses. My only advantage in hiding is that no one was looking for me, until now, that is. There is no labyrinth, no rock formation that will hide me from whatever is out for me. It would be child's play to find my body in some bear cave or abandoned shack and then dispose of me. How did this even happen? I thought I was being careful. Bah, it matters not. I must find what I am up against. My only saving grace is that it prefers to wait until I am defenseless, which means that it is not confident it can slay me in a fair fight. I do not have a way to track it, however. How should I proceed? I have superior sight, hearing, and sense of smell. I can use it. I also have my wits, such as they are. I have been on the move for a week, mostly going north and now east. Whatever is tracking me must logically be behind. I need to retrace my steps. Secondly, whatever is tracking me has a high chance of being sapient. Indeed, I find it unlikely that a beast would have the presence of mind to wait for daylight to slay its prey. It might well have followed the trail. I take out and load my rifle as a precaution, grateful that it has not rained in a while. I also make sure that Jimena's knife is within reach. The taste of tallow on the paper cartridge, I could have done without. I walk back, stopping every 300 steps. I close my eyes and listen to sounds, taste the air. I do not detect anything abnormal and continue. I do this for a solid hour and it becomes increasingly difficult not to focus on the thirst. Perhaps I should just drop everything and go to those small outposts Sam mentioned, hunt, and return? It would just take a couple of hours. No. I am close, I can feel it. I am so distracted that when the tracking thingy returns, I yelp in surprise. It is closer and stronger than ever before. I could just run around and... No. Focus, Ariane, you can do this. This was like a pulse, a ripple on the surface of a placid lake. Concentric circles going back and reflecting obstacles. I still cannot tell where it comes from, it could be anywhere. I sniff in disappointment and it hits me. There is a new smell. I rush forward on the trail and I finally identify it. I just found horse dung. I walk closer. I can tell that it is still very fresh. I kneel and stare at the ground. Here and there are the deep imprints of hooves with horseshoes. I am no tracking expert, but I can already tell a few things. I am being hunted by humans because vampires and werewolves do not ride horses, at least not when they hunt. Natives do not use steel tips. Finally, there are more than one but less than a lot. That means the culprits are a small squad of either servants of Gabriel, or mages. Given that I am sure I am being magically followed, I shall go with mages. That is extremely problematic. They may have ways to mask their presence or turn invisible. Mayhaps, they can even turn themselves into newts. And then, what should I do to find them? I follow the tracks to abandon the road where it disappears. I quickly figure out that they decided to leave the path at that moment. That must be when they realized I was not moving anymore. Time is running short, and so is my patience. I must find them before the cravings become unmanageable. I follow the prints to a massive rocky outcrops covered in pine trees and lose them on the solid ground. I am not sure what to do. I have never hunted without a dog before. I sniff the air. The smell of pine sap is overwhelming and under it there is wood smoke. Aha! A fire. I find the tallest tree I can and start climbing. Ignoring my ever stickier talons, I look around. Nothing, absolutely nothing. There is not the red hint of a cooling ember. Not a single pop or crack of wood turning to ash. Not even a trail of smoke rising to the skies. They are hiding. What should I do? What should I do? I can walk around for all the remaining time I have before I turn into a ravening beast and they slay me in a well-prepared trap. No, wait, they cannot be far. I can just go from hilltop to hilltop and smell them. Arg, this will take too much time. Ah, but I almost forgot. They have horses. I remember yesterday, I managed to scare the dog. Horses are prey, they should scare easily. I just have to do something to make them panic. I could set fire to the forest. No, Ariane, this is the dumbest idea you ever had since you tried to deep fry butter. You are not a creature of fire, no, you are a creature of the night. So let us scare them. That was beyond pathetic. I might have scared 3 bats and a squirrel. This is wrong. I am trying to act to a human. I close my eyes and focus. Onto the smooth lake of my thoughts lie the instincts that saved me so many times before. I call upon them now. I draw them out, helped by urgency and the thirst. I feel the slight wind on my face, smell the barest hint of wood smoke. My blood sings in the night. This is my moment. The prey is close. No one tracks the vampire. Find. Kill. Take trophy. Hiding like cockroaches. Let them know. Let them know I am no prey. I am the apex. The night is mine. The terrifying scream erupts like a volcano, spreads and rolls over the valleys and the forests, filling every cranny, reaching under every root. Hundreds of animals freeze in terror as millions of years of natural selection reminds them of their place in the pecking order. It is fury made manifest, the screams at the dawn of time, back when the winner would eat its victim's blood-soaked heart. There, a prey. Slightly to my left. They're so close. I rush forward and then I slow down. They know I am coming. Charging in against a mage has already proven to be stupid, and a few months of limited training has not suddenly turned me into an Amazon. I need to play this smart. Or charge and kill drink. No. I hear another subdued neigh, as well as the sound of hooves hitting the ground. They are just behind this tall rock. I look around me. There is a colossal pine tree maybe 30 steps away to my right. I carefully walk there. I drop my backpack. Change? Change. I wear the battle dress and I appreciate that someone would make something elegant and practical. It even has pockets. Imagine that. I tie the dagger to my hip and the rifle to my shoulder and I start climbing. I am not entirely silent, but I still manage to slither between branches until I reach the proper height. There they are. 3 men sit in a secluded clearing surrounded by rocks. The only entrance is facing away from the road, which means that whoever follows them would have to go around the pile of rocks then circle back. One of the men is doing his best to control 3 heavily laden horses, another sits in a meditation position next to a smothered campfire, and the last one is staring towards the entrance of the valley with a... Is that a blunderbuss? Ah well, at least they are taking this seriously. A circle of something surrounds them. It shines in my view in a white aura that makes the air shimmer as if it were heated. Despite the closeness, I cannot feel the colorful aura that I associate with mages. I consider my options. I have to kill them quickly, but I can try it in several ways. I could jump on them. That would let me kill one before the others retaliate, but I do not know what that strange barrier does. It could just prevent me from feeling them. It could also set me on fire, and would that not be unpleasant? Or, I could try my brand new Tolerant custom-made 56 caliber breech-loaded rifle that I haven't had the chance to try yet from the safety of a tree and bathed in almost total darkness. Bang. The bullet hits the sitting man in the chest. Yes. He tips backward with a yelp of surprise. Wait, surprise? The circle fades. The man reaches from something in his pocket with panic and takes out a strange object. He starts mumbling something while the man with the blunderbuss kneels by his side and aims in my general direction. Uh-oh. The wounded man points a finger and I let myself drop just as a storm of metal shreds my hiding spot. Never mind, close quarters it is. I leave the rifle and rush forward with my knife in front. I jump up and down the rock face and land in their camp. The first mage is still mumbling and I freeze in shock. The 2 other men are from the Order of Gabriel. I thought this was impossible. A quick gesture wakes me up. The 2 hunters draw pistols while the mage takes out a sword. Their faces are pale and drawn by worry. As they aim at me, I move forward. The man guarding the horse fires too fast and his shot goes completely off, but the other one waits until I get closer. I push myself and rush the mage. At the last moment, I pretend to slow down, then move down instead. A roar deafens me as a bullet slices the air where my head was but a moment before. I dodge forward and slice the hunter's extended hand. Unfortunately, my blade catches his hand at an angle and merely makes him drop the spent weapon. A quick movement makes me raise my hand and a silver dagger pings uselessly against my forearm. Wait, this dress is armored. I did not know. I return my focus to the mage. He smells delicious. I jump on him. Fire whip. An incendiary snake coils angrily around my neck. I back off and slice it with all my strength. The blade cuts into it and a magical construct pops like a soap bubble. Arg! I block another silver dagger from the hunter and move around the mage. Hedgehog. Silvery spines erupt from his back, easily avoided. I cannot touch his back without getting skewered, but I don't have to. I plant 1 foot in the ground, arm the second one and kick up with all my strength. My foot lifts off the ground in a shower of leaves and catches the mage square between the legs. He is launched up in the air and collapses in a miserable heap a few feet farther. Thanks for the advice, Marcus. As you would have said, right in the jewels. I ignore the look of unmitigated horror on the other 2 men's face and rush the second hunter. The third one, the one near the horse, is brandishing a pistol like an amateur. Low threat. I move more slowly now. I can still accelerate, but the thirst is growing by the second and I am afraid to lose control. Against those foes, it would be a terrible idea. I reach the expert hunter and try to stab him. He deflects my knife with one of his own, but it looks like I really hurt his hand after all. "Run, Grégoire, that's an order." The man with the horses hesitates, but mounts a horse and gallops away. Arg! Must not. The expert hunter uses my distraction to slice my wrist. I manage to move at the last moment and the blade slides against the dress armor. Foul monster. This man is quite old, with a creased face and a gigantic scar on his cheek. His eyes are anything but dimmed though, and he harbors an expression of endless hatred. In a quick movement, he throws his knife at me and I duck to avoid it. In the name of God. With a strange, silent explosion, I am propelled back against the rock wall. I barely manage to dive left when a bullet hits my right arm. With a scream of pain, I drop the knife. The hunter is already drawing a third pistol. I move forward, then to the side and grab the unconscious body of the mage to lift it. The hunter tries to circle me to get a clear shot. I use my left hand to. Bang. Time slows down as I move left. A burning line spreads to the side of my head. Gah! It hurts. Damn it. Oh, just you wait. My frantic hand finally finds what I was looking for as the hunter rushes me with yet another knife. His hopeful face falls when he sees what I managed to grab. A pistol. I cock the weapon, aim at his leg and pull the trigger. With a deafening roar, the hunter falls, clutching his leg. I do not leave him the time to recover. I jump on his back and punch his neck, but not enough to kill him. He collapses. I breathe by reflex. I am alive, I won. I need to. First thing, I need to feed. The downed edge is bleeding heavily from the bullet wound to the head. Waste. I put my mouth against the wound. Messy. Never mind. Ah, yes, this man did not use the potion to poison his own blood. This is amazing. There's much less vitality than in a werewolf, but all this power. I take my time to drink until the man dies. Ah yes, that was something. I stand up and roll my shoulder to my instant regret. With all this action, I forgot about the bullet wound. The projectile punched right through, fortunately. I soon feel my body start to heal itself under the influence of my recent feeding, and despite the pain, I am quite alright. Good. On another note, one of my foes escaped, and that is not good. I rummage through the men's belonging until I find a rope and use it to bind the remaining man tightly. I then disarm him as best as I can. With that much rope, it would take a magician to escape anyway. I will have some questions for him when he wakes up. I start to race after the inexperienced hunter. Grégoire, apparently. I still have 5 hours before dawn and I have quite a bit of energy to burn. The man is easy to follow. Deep imprints in the mud lead me forward until I pick up a pained neigh. His horse is lying on the ground. One of its legs is bent at the wrong angle. The man left it to suffer here. I look at brown eyes made frantic with fear and pain. It's a beautiful beast. It is a shame. It was a good hunt. I stab it in the brain, it dies instantly. You rest now. I, however, still have a quarry. Now, where did he go? I cannot follow his footprint as easily, but he cannot be far. If I were a panicked and inexperienced human, what would I do? Keep moving forward, seek shelter. He is afraid and tired. I keep going. The ground of the forest is at an incline and I walk down. On my right, I see a large trace of disturbed soil, as if something had fallen heavily. I change course and see a few other clumps of disturbed earth. Thankfully, the ground here is softer. I follow it until down the vale, then up to a small wooden structure. I approach it carefully. I have already been shot twice tonight. I creep closer and hear a voice. Midst of the shadow of death, I will fear no evils, for thou art cute. I silently creep to the door and immediately encounter a problem. There is a massive silver cross hanging to the door. I cannot enter. HSSS. No invitation will let me step foot into this hovel. This is hostile territory. Let us try diplomacy. Grgoyir, I say in a sing-song voice. The man screams, then keeps muttering his psalms. The sound grates my ears and sets my teeth on edge. Grégoire, let's talk, shall we? No reply. I suppose I will have to be a little more convincing. This haphazard pile of rotten wood has suddenly been turned into a sacristy for some inane reason. Force will not help me. At least, not the kind of force I can apply with my bare hands. I do have a bargaining chip, however. I retrace my steps to the clearing. The mage is still dead and the servant of Gabriel still unconscious. I go to the pine tree to gather my belongings. With my hurt arm, it will be difficult to shoot through the walls, and my dagger is barely better than my claws. I empty the mage's pockets and I recover a very nice pistol with golden engravings, a bag of silver bullets and 2 throwing daggers. I can get all the firearms I want now, ha! There are a few magical knickknacks, but I have no idea what they are for, and so I leave them here. I also empty his pockets of a few Spanish golden doubloons. No point in leaving those to the wolves. Out of curiosity, I grab the strange gauntlet all mages seem to have and fasten it to my hand. Spike. Shield. Seal. Fire whip. I spend a few minutes trying to shout incantations, imagine the effect, scream and yell. Nothing happens. I raise my eyes to the silent watcher. Can a celestial body convey amused condescension? I believe it can. Dejected, I drop the useless piece of junk, grab my prisoner and walk forward. We reach the small hovel and I still hear the blithering idiot spewing the Holy Bible verse by verse. Pa. Grégoire, are you still in there? The man hiccups and the recitation speeds up. I have his attention. It is not polite to ignore a lady. Why, I believe I may even take it out on your friend here. I reach behind for a finger and break it. The older man wakes up with a scream of pain. Oh my God, no. Ah, I knew you could hear me, Grégoire dear. Now, let us talk. Grégoire, listen to me, don't tell her. TCH, your participation is no longer required, old man. I reach in my backpack for the closest piece of fabric and shove it in the man's mouth. He looks at me in surprise, then in confusion. I have a better look at this specific piece of fabric. It is white cotton with a nice line of frills and a little bowan. Gah! I rip my underwear from the man's mouth and promptly replace it with a sock. I look up to the silent watcher. This definitely stays between us. It watches. I am serious. Oh my God, oh my God. Ah, yes, right. To the matter at hand. Yes. This never happened. Nope. It was a sock from the beginning. Yes. A sock. Now Grégoire, I am going to ask you a few questions. I will not speak to you, beast. Get thee behind me. And every time I do not like the answer, I will break something. After I run out of things to break, I will drink him dry. Silence. Let us start with a simple question. What is this man's name? Father Perry. The bound man groans and shakes, but he might as well wrestle a bear. Yes, this is the right way, I can feel it. I will ask simple questions that cost him nothing. The more he replies, the more he will reply. I can take a little time here. I could. I am sleepy. The immediate danger has passed, so my body is shutting down. The potent blood of the mage can only carry me so far. Curses. I have to hurry. Are you members of the Order of Gabriel? Yes. And we shall strike you down, foul fiend. The wrath of God shall. I think I liked him more when he was silent. You seem too inexperienced to be out hunting vampires. Why are you here? Grégoire remains silent, but eventually, he answers. I am an archivist. Father Perry asked me to come. Did he now? And where is his squad? Grégoire hesitates. I am about to snap another knuckle when I figure out the situation by myself. Let me guess, you are short-handed since your disastrous assault on the vampire keep. The warriors of God are legion. We are without number. Always, righteous men will answer the call and rise against the agent of evil and... Yes, I understand now. What I do not understand is why the three of you would go to such an extent to hunt me down. And why is there a midge with you? I thought you hated each other. Are you not supposed to put all of them on a pier and set it ablaze? 9 fingers left. I am weak, but I know that Father Perry would rather die than have me betray the secrets of the Order. I refuse to speak. Time is running short. I could always torture him, but... That could work. I have a proposal. You answer 3 questions of mine, and I will let Father Perry go. No, you lie. I will swear on the Silent Watcher. Sakamayadu? Ah, the Watcher. Really? No, you are a devil. You are trying to manipulate me. Tell you what, I say in the tone that got me 15 pence on the bushel at the Montfort market. I ask 3 questions, you answer them fully. If at any point you think the answer is not worth your friend's life, you can stop and I will kill him cleanly. If you answer all my questions, I will drop him on the front of the door, no more harmed than he is right now, and let you take him in. At no point will I try to harm him or you. When the door is closed and you two are secured, our truce will end. The man ponders while Father Perry spits mumbled imprecations in my mud-stained sock. There are no tricks, no places to wiggle. If I swear and he answers, this will end with both of my surviving enemies secured in a way. I consent. Good. Father Perry screams in muffled outrage. Inside the shack, I hear the sound of furniture being moved around. The man remembers that I used firearms and thinks my end goal is to shoot them from the outside. He is building a shelter. I find his determination admirable. How come you are teaming up with Image? It was Father Perry's decision. Full answers, Grégoire. This was the deal. I say with impatience. We did not have the numbers to track you down, and you did not leave the trail of bodies we expected from a yearling, so we had to hire a mercenary mage to find you, despite our rules. What made you go to such extent to kill me? Grégoire truly hesitates this time. I do not understand why this is so important. You killed his son, at the fortress. We figured out who you were from the New Orleans St. Lucia hospital incident. We knew the victim was Ariane Reynaud, but with the order evacuating we did not have the numbers to take you down. That's why we did what we had to do. I owe the father my life, so I followed. I turn and take a good look at the priest. That scar. I remember. The corridor in the vampire keep, I got his lifeless body falling. I throw it at the man with a scar on his face, his red-haired companion shoots me. Oh my God. I look in that pair of gray eyes, I see hatred beyond limit. I see a lust for vengeance that neither time nor distance will ever grind, no drug and nor love will ever smother. This man forfeited his hierarchy, his vows and his very values for the sole purpose of killing me. Scorn to defy God. I am flattered. How were you able to track me? The Image. Full answer is Grégoire. If any mage could track down vampires at will I would know. A lock of your hair. What? We used a lock of your hair from one of your father's lockets as a focus. It was well preserved and carried a strong meaning, so the mercenary was able to use it. I feel my entire body freeze. My voice is deceptively calm. Grégoire, what did you do to my father? Nothing. We will never harm the innocent. I look at Father Perry. I am not so sure. We got it from your Uncle Roger. We said we wanted to add it to a memorial to victims of violence in New Orleans. I swear. Also, this was the fourth question. which I answered willingly, but my part is done. Pa, he is right. As promised, I drag the furious priest to the door and step away. Grégoire opens the door and we take each other's measure. He seems captivated by me as I stand here in my blood-stained dress, arms crossed against my chest. Then he drags his friend in, locks the door, and they both take shelter in whatever fortified nest he managed to construct. Our truce is over. The discovery of Perry's grudge and the risk he's for my father feeds slow-burning anger that pushes the torpor away. I calmly walk back to the clearing and find what I was looking for in the saddles of a panicked horse. I find more in their bags. After I have everything I need, I head back to the shack. I tear a piece of tissue from their spare cloth and wrap it around a stick of dry wood, then I splash lantern oil on it. I empty the remaining oil against one of the walls. Set the torch ablaze with tinder and set it against the wooden frame. After it catches nicely, I throw the torch on the thatch roof. This is not a church, but a sanctified hunter's shack. As I mentioned, it has not rained in a little while. They last for 15 minutes, but eventually, the smoke and heat forces them out. They both still fight to the end. I make it quick and painless. It was a good hunt. I drink a bit from both of them, and then I throw their bodies and that of the mage in the funeral pyre that the sanctuary has become. I add the magical item, including the tracking device, to it. I leave their crosses on a standing post outside. Later, I quickly find a cave and collapse, utterly exhausted. Chapter 16. It has been 3 nights since I fought the renegades of the Order, and I keep thinking about my experience. This truly was a good hunt. The enemy was strong and cunning, and I managed to fight better and outsmart them, the predatory part of me used in service of a well-executed plan. This is as it should be. Grégoire, Perry, and you, the unnamed mage, may you find rest in the afterlife. Between hunting parties, patrols, and the occasional lone traveler, I have stayed well fed without draining anyone dry. That includes tonight. I am crossing a meadow when suddenly, something attracts my attention. Not too far to my left, I feel a powerful aura that does not come from a person, but a spell. This one does not track or warn, it is a sort of polite invitation. How curious. A call in the middle of nowhere? I cannot perceive any malice or any compelling effect in the working. It is, in fact, the equivalent of a merchant hawking his goods at the top of his lungs in the marketplace. Although there appears to be nothing amiss, the prudent call would be to continue forward. Curiosity killed the cat after all, and a vampire has only one life. I am also growing increasingly bored. I should have packed a book, a good romance filled with moneyed gentlemen and impoverished yet witty women. But alas, I was so worried about my physical well-being that I failed to account for the mental one. It is probably nothing too bad. Just a quick look. I walk towards the obvious origin of the magic. Whoever designed it made sure that it could not be missed. I still make some effort to walk off the path and keep close to the edge of the copse as I come across. After a few minutes, I reach the edge of a vast open field. This is the largest valley I have seen in a while. Despite the overcast sky, I can see for a good mile in any direction, and so I do not miss the strange construct that sits 30 paces away from me, nor the 3 natives who approach it. The construct is a wooden pillar covered in carvings from top to bottom. I identify several human and animal heads and body parts covered in garish colors. Branches have been drilled to form limbs that hold a variety of objects, including a spear and a drum. This is the magic beacon. The trio eventually stops before it. They are quite the group. The first man walks with a strong limp and is helped forward by the 2 others. I am not familiar with native customs, but his clothes seem haphazardly put on, as if he had opened a drawer and just piled on what he could find. Despite the variety of cuts and fabrics, he still manages to have parts of his chest bare in temperatures that approach freezing. He is also drunk as a skunk. The second man wears a mix of Western and native clothes, glasses and a bowler hat. I can appreciate the care that was invested in making the arrangement stylish. He looks scared. The last man is a warrior. If the eagle feathers, spear, and javelins had not given him away, his scowl and musculature would have made it obvious. His expression is that of a man who has utterly run out of patience and is one wrong word away from a tussle. Mesmerized, I observe them. What are they doing here so late? And why? The drunk man falls on his knees before the statue and starts muttering and shrieking imprecations in a language I do not know. His lunatic ravings reach a crescendo that ends in a sentence that he screams at the top of his lungs. Come and partake. What? What? Did this buffoon actually? Impossible. Implausible. This is surely a coincidence? The man quickly proves me wrong. He grabs a bowl from some recess of his cloth, stabs himself in the arm quite viciously, and soon enough, the recipient contains a few gulps of blood. He then kneels and presents this offering towards my general direction. The warrior is at the end of his patience. He is about to intervene when the man with glasses holds him back. They start arguing between themselves, gesticulating and pointing at the kneeling lunatic, the statue, and wherever they came from. The scent of the blood reaches me, and despite being fed, my fangs come out. This man's blood contains powerful magic. Drinking it would be extremely beneficial, not to mention delicious. It's here, cooling in that bowl. It would be a shame to let it go to waste. With a last inspection of my surroundings, I leave the safety of the woods and silently approach the madman. My instincts tell me that it is safe, that the supplicant should not be ignored. Yes, this is right. A moment later, I drink the bowl and lick the wound close. The lunatic looks at me with brown eyes full of wonder, and I realize that he is much younger than I thought. He waits for me to release his arm and smiles tefilly. That is not the reaction I expected. Regardless, the beacon and offerings mean they have a proposal, and now I am interested in hearing it. You may speak, supplicant. The two others jump and yelp as they finally notice me. The warrior immediately points his spear in my direction before realizing something. His eyes go from furious to afraid, and when his companion pushes the weapon down, he does not resist. As I wait without a move, the lunatic places his head against my leg and sighs. I abhor physical contact from strangers, yet his gesture is so innocent and harmless that I decide to tolerate it. I place a proprietary hand on the young man's head. Well? The pair look at each other, and the hatted man lifts his hat and addresses me in French. Good evening, madam. I am Iskani, of the Choctaw people. We invited you here because we humbly request your assistance. He grips the hat nervously. I signal him to go on. Our tribe is hunted by a giant cursed alligator. It is said that the beast is as long as 3 men and black as the night. It comes out every month to eat a man or a child. We cannot let this continue. My chief Minko, he points to the warrior, led several hunts against the creature, but they were not successful. It stays hidden and turns a deaf ear to the challenges of brave hunters. The warrior crosses his arms as if to dare me to deride his efforts. Our shaman Nashoba had a vision. He said that a pale one would be willing to help, maybe. The man swallows in fear. He knows what we are capable of. He also knows that he stands without a weapon or a plan on an open field. I am curious about the beast, however. I was informed by Baduin that vampires cannot feed on animals, and indeed, beast blood lacks this vitality I crave so much. With that said, I successfully fed from a werewolf, and I am not quite confident that a 7-feet-tall fur-covered wolf hybrid still qualifies as Homo sapiens. He was technically a cursed human, of course, but with that form. Could I perhaps feed on a magical beast to grow stronger? I am tempted to try. I could certainly use a distraction, at least. What do you offer in exchange? The translator turns to his chief and the two debate for a while. Eventually the chief points to Nashoto with a smirk. His companion frowns, yet still offers. Minko says that should you slay the beast, we will let you have the shaman to drink dry. I remain silent and unmoving. This is not right. Only a free man can become a supplicant. Only what is offered freely can be taken fully. My lack of response produces the expected result. The two men start shifting nervously and Minko's grip on his spear makes the wood creak. I turn to the kneeling shaman. Should I do as your chief asks, you will offer your blood to me freely. Forgive me, Pale One, our shaman does not speak. Give blood, earring to hide better, for you, child of thorn and hunger. He blinks slowly, first one eye then the other, like a wave. One of his pupils is much larger than the other. This young man is mad as a March hare and caution dictates that I should not trust a word he says. It would be wrong. Nashoba showed up exactly as I reached this clearing. Given our respective speed, he would have had to depart from his village far before I noticed the beacon. He also spoke the tongue, twice, and that is no coincidence. It is said that genius and insanity walk hand in hand. Perhaps there is some truth to it. He also offered me something I did not ask for. Earrings that will help me hide. Did he see a reason why I would need those? Did he see my future? This man is dangerous. Perhaps I should dispose of him before he can be turned against me. No, this is wrong. A supplicant should never be harmed. What was I thinking? Agreed. The shaman nods as if my approval was never in doubt. He stands up and points a finger towards one side of the valley that goes deeper into native land. A low incline leads to a sparse canopy of trees and the occasional glimpse of gray water. As a gesture of goodwill, I nod to his two companions, but they only stare at me with apprehension. This is a bit rude, though I harbor no grudge. Their fear is not unwarranted. I pick up my pack and set out while they do the same. Once I am out of view, I change into the battle dress. The original spotless garment now harbors a bloody stab wound, a bloody bullet wound, a bloodstain on the left shoulder and scorch marks. It also smells a bit rank as a result. I really need to stop and do some actual laundry. Ariane, the vampire that washes bloody rags under the moonlight. Perhaps I should sing, too. I quickly reach the edge of the marsh proper. Now, how to proceed? My quarry should be either in, or next to a body of water that can contain it. Even accounting for exaggeration, the beast should be massive and only the largest ponds would be a suitable habitat for it. I am reasonably confident that I can feel its magic. My plan is decided. I shall skirt alongside the aforementioned ponds and keep my senses sharp. I will start by going left and circle the marsh, then go inwards. I will use this opportunity to find shelter should the task prove to be too much for a single night. Nodding to myself, I set out and for a couple of hours, I search. At this time of the year, the marsh is unusually quiet. Strands of mist hover on the water and around naked trees. Their blackened limbs extend like the desiccated hands of crons, ready to snatch and strangle. Only the sound of my traveling boots in the hot pool breaks the ominous silence. Finally, I find the first trace of my quarry. Under a gnarled root, I find a severed arm. Only my keen nose led me to the relatively fresh appendage. It has been cut off at the shoulder and I push it with a shoe to stare at the grisly wound. I count 3 tooth marks. For an entire shoulder. Aha! I back up slowly and almost lose my footing when I step in a hole. Cursing, I quickly regain my balance and stop when I realize what I walked in. It is a footprint. It is. Quite large. Really large. Surely, it could not be that big. When Iskani said that the creature was as long as 3 men, he was joking, right? That was poetic license, yes? It just has very, very big feet. Right? Oh my god. That thing must be as big as a bloody elephant. Never mind my rifle. I should have brought a navy cannon, nay, a frigate, with a full marine complement. Did I truly agree to go after this behemoth? Was I insane? Forget it, it would be better to cover the entire marsh in black tar and set it on fire. Problem solved. I stay like this for a few seconds, but my cold will soon reasserts itself. This is a hunt. The prey is deadly, and so am I. I secure my backpack and take out and load the pistol with a silver bullet. Should the beast assault me, I will rely on my speed to shoot and stab it in the eyes. Alligator brains are small in their eyes, unarmored. It will do. I hope. Another few minutes later, I stop as I see something promising. There is a small lake further inland with parts of the shore suspiciously devoid of vegetation. I creep closer and my suspicions are confirmed. There are a few stumps and dead trees, as if something massive had passed through several times. This could be the lair of my prey. I start walking along the edge until I pick something up, the oar of a living being. I step away from the edge of the water as soon as I realize two problems. First, it does not come from the water but a copse of trees a few paces away. Secondly, it is wrong. This oar does not feel like a marsh animal should be like. It is powerful, yes, but powerful like a mountain, like steel. It is unbreakable, indomitable, and it is ancient. I turn to the source, aim my pistol and cock it. Without being prompted, a nightmarish form stands up. And up, and up. What in the name of? It is an abomination. An insectoid creature covered in moss and dead vegetation, with 2 arms and 2 legs and... oh. It is a very tall, very strong man in a black iron armor of strange make, covered with camouflage. Are ye quite all right, lass? With an annoyed click, I close my mouth and holster the pistol. I must have looked like some scared bumpkin just now. What a disgrace. A giant insect? Please. Yes, I am. Thank you for inquiring, mister. The man in front of me is a force of nature. He is the tallest person I have ever seen by a wide margin, and his shoulders match the rest of his physique. What can be seen that is not hidden by armor is scar-covered muscles and tan skin. The armor itself is a thing of wonder. It looks like it was built from a locomotive, with rivets and additions aplenty and shaped like a massive beetle. There are even gauges and buttons spread about. I cannot see his expression behind a conical half-helmet and glasses that look like a pair of tinted monocles. The rest of his face is covered by a majestic beard sitting under a huge, ruddy nose. Quite the character. Loath of Scarag, lass, it is a pleasure to meet ye. The man's voice is deep and cultured. It is much softer than I expected, even if there is a gravelly quality to it. Ariane, I reply as I curtsy. This is new and exciting. May I inquire as to what you were trying to ambush here? Of course. I am hunting an alligator of prodigious size that has been terrorizing the locals. I freeze. Could it be? And were you perhaps asked to do so by a trio of Choctaw men? Ah, ye saw their advertisement too? Gah! Of course. They just attract anyone that has a chance and then throw them at their problem. Is this a scam? Have I been swindled? And may I ask what you have been promised as compensation? A few shards of obsidian. Nothing too fancy. Yee. A trinket, also I get to drink from the shaman. Oops, I spoke too hastily. Instead of a reply, a whir and click come from the man's helmet and his left eye's lens is substituted by a reddish one. Ah, a vampire. I never expected one so far away from a large settlement. Well, to tell ye the truth, I am more interested in the beast's skills. Unfortunately, it has refused to come out and attack me. I had resolved to wait on one of its trails until it passed by, but your arrival has changed things. Do tell, how did ye notice me, lass? I hesitate. The man raises a hand. I apologize for my manners, vampire. It has been a while since I had a proper discussion, and I am understandably rusty. He stands straighter and the armor creaks and groans like an old barn to accommodate him. That thing must weigh a ton. I, Loath of Scarag, would like to offer ye to cooperate on this hunt. Since our prizes are different, there is no reason for us to compete. Instead, I would like to ask for the help of whatever keen senses told ye of my presence. In return, I shall cover ye and provide ranged support to take down the beast. I see no field cannon on that mon. And what, pray tell, will you use to pierce through its thick dermis? I thought ye'd never ask, lass. Loth turns back and leans forward. There are a few clangs, a few grunts, and he eventually turns around to show me his weapon, proudly displayed in front of his hips. Oh, my, it is so big. The man smiles as I admire his equipment. It looks like a harpoon launcher that would have been taken from a whaler's deck. It is humongous in size, and no human should be able to wield this monstrosity. Just wait till I start shooting. By comparison, my poor pistol looks woefully inadequate. Oh, what an unpleasant feeling. Before I agree, I would like to ask you a few questions. You are not human, are you? The man stops moving. What gave it away? You have an aura, but you are not a midge. There is also your size, that strange armor of yours, the oversized harpoon. Alright, but what about my voice? My mannerisms? Close your eyes for a while and imagine we're having this conversation in a nice salon. Would I come off as strange? This conversation, the one we are having about hunting a titanic magical alligator together, at night, in Choctaw territory, in exchange for blood and obsidian shards? He nods frantically. Besides the obvious, you sound perfectly normal, I think? Oof. You had me worried for a second here, lass. You see, I haven't had a talk this long in 3 months. I was afraid I was coming off as particular. You know. Borderline. Loony. Isolation can do that to you. I see. Hold on, you have not talked to anyone in 3 months. What in the world were you doing? I was looking for magical beast skin. Magical alligator skin? Lass, that would do, and that is why I need your help. I thought I was blessed when I spotted that towering column of magic those lads set up and heard their proposal. But that beast is cunning. It hides from groups and things too big. I walked around, screamed obscenities that could be heard from here to the North Pole, and even showed it my arse, but 'twas all for nothing. The beast will not take the bait. I have been stuck in that piece of armor for 3 bloody days. Do you know how hard it is when you got that itch in you? Does this man have any censure? All right, lass. I close my mouth with a click. I just wanted to know what he was. How did we end up talking about his itchy crotch? Arg. He asked me what I am. Well, I am a Dverger. I stare in silence. Don't look at me like that. I'm telling the truth. I'm probably the only Dverger on the continent, well, the only one with pure enough blood to know what he is. What do you mean? Well, we have a very low birth rate, and we are so close to human most can't tell, so many of us just marry into human families. Why, my second wife was human. What happened to her? Where is she? She died of old age. That was, 300 years ago, give or take. What? How old are you? Lass, that's sort of a personal thing to ask, hey? And telling me about the state of his unmentionables is not personal. Men, I swear. We are close to stone and steel. Always have been. We love metal and magic, and we wield them well. Why, I built that thing myself. Oh, and we also love good liquor. And lasses, or lads. And we can live very long. My granduncle Locry, bless his heart, was already a man when Rome fell to those Huns upstarts. And he's probably still alive if that harpy of a wife has not. I spend a good 3 minutes listening to the man talk about his cousins twice removed back in Norway and Laponia and whatnot, and I am growing increasingly worried. I am confident that the Choctaw tribesman will not speak of me, not because I believe in their honesty, but because no warriors worth their salt will admit to having asked a foreign woman for help. I am planning to kill Loth, However, he already proved beyond the shadow of a doubt that he cannot keep his mouth shut. The more he talks, however, and the more I see the issue. Loth is a centuries-old battle-hardened veteran encased in a magical suit of armor of his own making. I would rather try my luck against the crocodile, bare-handed. Could I possibly wait until he lowers his guard? He will get out of this thing after the hunt. I can still work with him to slay our quarry, though I dislike the idea of murdering someone I fought side by side with. And then it took 3 weeks for their wives to figure out the twins had switched place. Bah ha ha ha. Lokrai and Tik are such pranksters. Loth of Skarag? I propose that we kill the alligator together. You take all the skin you want, I get to try its blood, and then we shall return to the tribesmen and claim our respective rewards. Do you agree? Sure lass, works for me. We've already delayed long enough as it is. And whose fault is this, you gossiping blabbermouth? Gah! Let us set out then. I walk forward, close to the water, while Loth covers me from much farther away. When I asked him about it, he answered that the beast would only go after cute and juicy rump targets, that I should not worry my pretty noggin over playing bait because he could throw a Francisca through a troll's nostrils at 100 paces. Whatever that meant, and that I was, therefore, guarded as a dragon's bollocks. After that, I decided not to ask any more questions. Loth is direct, vulgar and talkative, but as I offer my back to him, I do not doubt that he will only protect it. My instincts agree. I do not want to fight him, but I want to fall back into vampire hands even less. We circled the whole pond without success, and the strange man leads me to another lake where our target may be resting. You know, east of here there's a species of wetland trees with its roots bare. It's a bit indecent if ye ask me. They are showing their naked legs to everyone if you think about it. You know, all this mud reminds me of Aunt Gerda's cooking. She could not make a proper meal to save her life. We used to say, just throw it up, it will taste better the second time. I remember that even that starving fox. You know, I think vampires should say yesternight, 'cause it's never yesterday, technically. He never shuts up. I know a few nasty words could make him stop. I do not say them. It would be unwise to antagonize him now. Who am I kidding? I understand him perfectly. He has spent 3 months in solitude, and now he has someone who he can talk to about events that happened 200 years before without being seen as a madman. He is also the only Virgo around. I know that I should avoid other vampires like the plague, but at least they are there. I am not the only one of my kind. I have Jimena. I have my father and Intze. Loth is alone. How can someone so old be so alone? And here we are, lass. I hope I did not bother too much with me ramblings. Not at all, Loth. Should we proceed as before? Just so. Keep your peepers open, I think it's the right one. We keep walking. The immobility of the marsh grates on my nerves. At the same time, I feel myself growing sluggish. The tedious search is not the same as an active hunt, and since I fed almost immediately upon waking up, a noise behind me. I turn around. Massive jaws. Impossible, impossible. I did not feel anything. I move and it compensates. With a snap, it closes. Caught. Dragged. Stuck. Trapped. Must slash. The thing is too fast, its skin too thick, it drags me away. My head is submerged. There's muddy water in my mouth. There's muddy water in my lungs. It hurts. My leg hurts. Ignore pain. Kill fight. I grab the silver dagger and stab what I can reach, inside a nostril, the gum, a broken tooth. I fight like a fury. I grab the jaw and try to push it away. Suddenly, I surface. I manage to open the nightmarish maw. I free a bleeding leg. I crawl away. The beast does not move. I cough a lungful of brackish liquid. I turn again. It's dead. I cough more. Ariane. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Ariane. You are safe, lass, it's over. We killed it. Cough. Cough. I did not feel it coming, at all. Cough. Yes, I understand now, it could mask its presence. I was looking at the water the whole time and did not see anything. Its eyes should have been visible. I stare at the corpse of the beast. The alligator is as massive as expected, and its scales are completely black. The darkness is so intense it seems like it is swallowing the light. Even the corridors of the arena were never that obscure. The beast has a single, massive harpoon lodged to the hilt in its eye. Transparent liquid slowly drips down its side. This was an incredible shot. Loth is as good as his word. After a pause, the man goes on. Try the blood, then we can go back. I'll skin the thing tomorrow at dawn. Yes, I should not let myself be distracted by a near-death experience at the hand of a massive saurian. I take my knife and stab into its throat. A thin trail of blood drips down. I must hurry before all the vitality disappears. I take one swallow. Blurg. So bitter. This is completely undrinkable. I can feel the potency, but I cannot stomach its medium. Yes, I thought it might be the case. I met vampires in Boston, you know. Some of them can distill essence from magical beast blood. I thought it was weird that he tried to drink it raw. He looks at me and frowns. This is bad, I don't want him to. We should get back to my camp. I have rainwater. Let's wash the worst of it clean. I look down at myself. The dress is beyond ruined. A massive tear runs from waist-high down and shows my pale left leg on top of the existing damage. It is also disgustingly filthy. The walk back to the camp feels like an eternity spent picking weed off my hair. Eventually, we arrive back where we first met. Come, sit. I am not thinking straight. I am exhausted now. I still need to pick up my gear and find shelter for the day. This will be a closer call than I would like. I sheathe the knife and drop my holster. I will have to clean those very thoroughly, preferably before I slumber. I really need one night spent on supplies and cleaning. So bothersome. Loth grabs an entire barrel and slowly upends it on top of my head. I rinse my hair, my face. I remove the worst from the dress. I need clean clothes. Hey lass, that hunt was a bit anticlimactic, don't you think? We got all that anticipation, all that tension, and then bam, it's over in a second. Kind of disappointing, you know. I was hoping for something that would get the blood pumping. It suddenly occurs to me that I am weakened, and completely unarmed. He wouldn't. I know what I want to do to get a little bit of excitement, a challenge if he will. I heard that vampires are exceptional at it. No. He wants a real hunt. I can't fight him, I am not at my best and he is dangerous, deadly even. Must recover dagger, create distance, hide, ambue. Say, let's have sex. What? 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 I sputter. To celebrate the hunt, the fact that we're alive and the beast is dead, Weedverger. His hand caresses my shoulder. I am crying. The front of my dress is shredded, but my right arm is still free. I grab around. I find a rock. The abomination has stopped moving. It is looking right at me, daring me to act. Go on, try. With a yell of defiance, I smash the rock against its temple. I might as well have hit a steel door. I think that you do not need to use that arm anymore. A heavy hand grabs my shoulder. No. I jump, I grab my knife, I wave it in front of me. Stay away from me. He looks too astonished to move at first, then he slowly raises his hands to appear harmless. You stay away from me, don't touch me. Don't touch me at all. Stay away. All right. You don't come near. I won't come near. I'm sitting down. He does, and at the same time, he deflates. I know that he's the same size, but he seems to collapse on himself. Slowly, Loth raises his hand and unlocks something, then he removes his helmet, which falls on the ground with a loud thud. He then waits in silence. I realize that I am hyperventilating. Ariane, the only hyperventilating creature that needs no air. Pathetic. I am pathetic. I was weak. I am weak. We killed the alligator? What a joke. He killed the alligator. I was just floundering around like an idiot. I am still very much the spawn that was thrown away by its master after only 4 bloody days. Unwanted. A bargaining chip. The butt of the bloody joke. Damn it. We spent some time in this strange stalemate. I am standing with a blade trying to regain control, while he sits quietly, waiting for God knows what. I am so sorry, Ariane. I look up and take his measure for the first time. Now that his head is revealed, I can see that Loth has a pleasant face, in a rugged gentleman kind of way. His hair is black and cut short, and he has chestnut-colored eyes currently fixed on me. Right now, he looks like a beaten dog. A harpoon-equipped, armored, beaten dog. I say nothing. He waits. Why did this happen? I have been touched by people before without triggering any memories, without turning into a quivering mess. Except, besides my father, I have never been touched by a man who wasn't a cattle or a supplicant. They were all in my power. They were not men to me, not really. Loth is. He is mature, strong, and we are not bound by oath or contract. What should I do? At a loss, I look up to the silent watcher. Once more, its quiet gaze brings me a modicum of self-control. You're a fugitive, ain't ye? Well, that settles it. He figured me out. It has come to this. I should never have agreed to a truce. I should have fought him on the spot. I stand up. What if I am? Don't get your panties in a twist. I'm asking because, well, because I can help you. I scoff. Does he think me daft? Why would you ever do something like that? We just met. I must run away. Even with his helmet off, I am far from confident that I can take him out. Loth's expression turns resolute. He stands up, takes a step back and methodically removes a gauntlet. I watch, mesmerized as he takes a small knife and slices his palm open. Blood wells. It smells pretty good. I, Loth of Skarag, hereby swear that I shall protect Ariane's life, freedom, and welfare until next midnight, or die trying. A powerful wave of magic washes over me. It tastes like snow, mountain, and unyielding metal, all things I am not familiar with, and yet I feel them as if I knew them intimately. The intensity of the blood oath is stunning. The Dvergr closes his fist and kisses it without breaking eye contact with me. What? What just happened? I don't know what to say. I certainly did not expect this. Loth of Skarag, warrior, and craftsman, will die to defend me if it comes to it. I know this with the same certainty that I know the sun will rise in the east. It is inevitable. But why? Perhaps I feel like a fool that ignored all the obvious signs. Perhaps I owe ye for what I just put ye through by being callous. And perhaps... He pauses for a long time and I wait without a sound. This moment feels important. It would be sacrilegious to interrupt him. Perhaps I feel lonely. I ponder this strange confession for a little while. His words make little sense to me. I cannot reconcile them with my image of him. I do not understand. You look human, you sound human, you can drink, eat and walk under the sun, so why are you alone? Ye are so young to ask me such a question. Tyre, I should have known. I should have noticed. Yes, humans are good companions. Did I mention me second wife, Agna? I nod. I stayed by her side until her head went wide. In the end, she could no longer walk, could barely see. Never did she harbor any grudge that her body would fail her while I would go on. Loth marks a heavy pause. The pain in his eyes is sobering. It broke me heart when she died. I promised myself, never again. Our children were adults by that time, so I picked me things and left. I stayed in the mountains for a century to hone my craft. It did not help. Even today I can see her smile as a young lass, as a mother, as a mature woman, and as I held her hand because she could not see me no more. If he live long enough he will know this too. Human lives shine bright, but they fade fast. I cannot let myself be burnt like that again. And maybe I will die in 2 weeks. Fugitive, remember? And maybe ye won't, especially if ye accept me proposal. The gist of it is, maybe in 100 years, ye'll still be here. The humans won't, and there's nothing I can do about it. Just knowing it is enough. Not to mention, you can't talk about that time your nephew Rollo showed his posterior to Edward I without people starting to wonder how old it would make you. Aye lass, ye got me there. Rollo Two Beards we called him afterward. Well, after what you said in that oath of yours, I think that I want to hear your proposal. And I'll tell ye tomorrow. You're barely staying awake as it is, and we need to find ye some shelter. Yes. I am afraid you may have to carry me. That's not the issue. Don't ye want to get changed? You're kind of covered in swamp water. Ah. Let us make haste. Chapter 17 My wrists and ankles are bound to the chair by massive manacles of steel and silver. Scarlet runes glow ominously. Does it not look scrumptious, Ari? The long table spreads in front of me. I am at the place of honor, where the paterfamilias, the father, should sit. This isn't normal. The dishes are not normal. They shimmer in the semi-darkness like red-hot embers. It sure does, Aunt Sarah. Does it now? She replies with a smirk. Well then, should we start? Her eyes are not the usual gray. They are as dark as the place between the stars and just as empty. My right hand is drawn forward to a fork by the manacle. I cannot resist. When I make contact, the cutlery flashes blue and my skin erupts in bloody blisters. I bite down screams of pain. Something the matter, Ari? You are Ari, are you not? Of course something is the matter, darling, says Uncle Roger as he takes a seat, soon followed by other members of the family. Black eyes everywhere. A powerful hand grabs my hair and pulls my head back. Did you forget to say the graces, sister? Surely, only a dirty slut who sold herself to the devil to survive would forget to say them. No, I was just waiting for everyone to be seated, as is proper. Proper, Well, since you are so proper, dear sister, you may say them first. But Achille, Papa should be the one to do it, no? Father enters the room. Each of his steps makes the ground tremble. He is so strong enough to shatter my arms with a finger. On his collar stands a cross of the Order of Gabriel, and in his hands, he holds wooden spikes in a silver maul. He takes the seat that faces mine, at the end of the table. Tut, daughter. We awaited your return among us for so long. Just this once, you may take my place and do the rites. It is a great honor, one that only a wanton harlot would refuse. You agree, do you not? Oh, of course. Very good. Since we are all here, you may begin. They all stare at me with hungry mouths just a bit too wide. The skin around their eyes cracks as the darkness spreads. Bless us, cough, oh Lord, cough, and these they. My throat burns, clouds of ash and droplets of charred blood erupt with each word. I have to continue. Oh no, they're standing up, no please. I wake up to an unfamiliar sight, the canopy of a canvas tent. I am in a metal box with the top opened. I do not remember how I got there. I sit up and a simple cover of brown fabric folds from me. Under it, I am still wearing the travel-stained dress I fell to torpor in. I take in the sights. A single lamp shines with soft blue light on the vast interior. A chest and a tidy cot occupy one side, while another accommodates a copper tub filled to the brim with water. A chair next to it holds soap and a folded cloth. Hello. I'm outside, lass. I stand up. The box I am in looks suspiciously like a coffin, except that this one has a lock on the inside allowing its occupant to shut it tight in a symbolic quilt. That is quite thoughtful, and the effort makes me feel a bit better after this nightmare. I step to the entrance and move my head out. We stand in a clearing. 2 torches illuminate a circle of grassy earth upon which stand tanning posts. Vast squares of black scaly skin are left to dry. Loth is in the process of dismantling the first one with an ease that speaks of experience. Tanneries usually smell like a latrines, and I am quite surprised when my nose only picks up hints of chemicals and herbs. Good evening, Loth. Good evening, Ariane. I drew ye a bath and ye can tell me if that dress fits. Hold on, you skinned and tanned the alligator, made a dress and the coffin for me in one day? I would prefer the term sarcophagus, he replies with a laugh, and I. You were slumbering for more than 16 hours, you know. Ye must have been exhausted. I see, well, I'll talk to you later. I feel a bit wary at the thought of derobing while only a layer of fabric separates me from a man. All my concerns melt as I step into the bath. It feels so incredibly good to immerse myself in piping warm, clean water after more than a week on the road. I submerge my head for a full minute and enjoy the feeling of weightlessness that no lack of air can disturb. I sit back up and grab a bar of soap. It is scented. Is that jasmine? I slather my hair and body. Oh, so good. It feels so incredible. Beware, world, Ariane the squeaky clean vampire queen is about. I hear Loth chuckle. He heard me. Gah. I get out and dry myself on a deliciously clean towel just as the thirst makes its presence known. I dig out my last set of relatively clean underwear and put on the dress. It is a marvel. The cut is very simple and without any odd ornaments, but also comfortable and flexible. Dark green and brown cotton offer a natural camouflage, and I can tell it has been reinforced at the sleeves. There are also, wonders of wonders, pockets. And it suits me. I come out in a rush. Loth, this is incredible. How did you know my measurements? I promise I did not touch ye, Ariane. I just have, quite a bit of experience with women. Oh. I would blush if I still could. Just hold on for a bit while I pack. Oh, let me assist. While he gathers the skin, I take care of the tent and its contents. Thank you. Now let's get all this on me ride. I pick my bag and a chest and follow him. Across the clearing stands a huge metal box. I notice the enormous wheels stuck to it and realize that this is a carriage. If I had to transport all the jewels of India from one side of the continent to the other, I would place them in this. Wow. What manner of beast could draw this monstrosity? Curious, I circle. Wow. Loth smiles broadly and chuckles. His giant chest quakes with hilarity as I lay my eyes on a mastodon of a beast of burden. Someone must have successfully crossbred a bison with a blue whale. The shaggy quadruped is bigger than most carriages I have seen. A set of horns that could skewer a horse extend from its bovine skull. Ha, meet Asni. Impressive, isn't he? How? Don't mind the size, he isn't the biggest thing around. Instead, go closer. I hesitate. Loth, animals do not react well to my presence. Asni is special. Come. We walk to the front of the animal. A shaggy mane covers its eyes. Only its jaw moves, busy masticating. Touch him. I am surprised to see that Asni has not reacted to my presence yet. I slowly bring a hand to its muzzle and pet him slowly. His pelt is surprisingly soft, and I find myself enjoying the experience. Loth stands in front of me proudly with its chest out. He places a hand in the small of his back and shows Asni with the other. He looks like a businessman unveiling his latest venture. Have ye ever had your mount flee after a werewolf's howl, or panic at the sight of a giant magical hyena? Does the scent of blood make your ride unreliable? Well, worry no more, Loath of Scarag is the solution. This here majestic beast is the result of decades of effort and selective breeding into making the absolute dumbest animal possible. I giggle. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This here beast is simply too dim-witted to be afraid. With Asni, experience the boundless courage of abysmal stupidity as it rides into battle with a serene heart and an empty skull. I applaud and Loath bows perfectly. Let's be on our way before. It starts as a whistle, then a trumpet, then whistle, then trumpet again and ends up with the sound of wet cloth flapping in the wind. It lasted for almost 10 seconds. I stare at Loath, horrified. That's a problem. Let's move before we can smell it. That's also why I never park him near an open flame. I am tempted to ask to ride in the back. I do admire the beast, but I am not inclined to be submitted to such cavernous bouts of flatulence. I know I do not have to breathe, but this is simply a matter of principles. We load everything in the back of his carriage in comfortable silence. I notice that his armor is stored in the center with free access. The interior looks defensible. This was designed on purpose to let him defend himself should the carriage be intercepted. When we are done, I sit next to him. He takes out a massive stick and slaps the beast's rear with it. He places it back on the side and we wait. And wait. And wait. Finally, the beast starts moving forward at a placid pace, pulling the moving fort as if it weighed nothing. Takes a few seconds for the signal to reach its brain. Ye got to anticipate when ye want to stop. I smile and let the movement distract me from the thirst. I realize that our truce only lasts until midnight, and if I want to consider staying with him, we need to have a talk. I decide to start with basic courtesy. I wanted to thank you for your care. You went beyond any reasonable expectations. I noticed that you even cleaned my gun. You're welcome, lass. Now we go to get your reward and that blood. How long can ye go without feeding, by the way? More than a day? No. I figured ye were pretty young. You're not a courtier, are ye? You're a fledgling. How do you know so much about us? I think I mentioned that I met one of you near Boston. He goes by Constantine, and he's a scholar of sorts. We talked a lot and I got some good work done with his protection. I see, and to answer your question, yes, I am a fledgling. How old are ye really? Ye don't have to answer, by the way. I just know that younger vampires have more needs, so I'll know to adapt. I hesitate. There is no reason for me to share this with him. The less he knows, the less everything can go to the dogs if the deal falls through and I don't manage to kill him. Loath gives me a sad smile. For some reason, seeing the pain on his bushy face makes me uncomfortable. Between the ruddy nose and glorious beard, he looks like a favorite uncle or grandfather. It is a face designed for boisterous claims and roaring laughter, not for the raw hurt I see on it now. You know, I can see the cogs turning behind those sky-colored eyes of yours. I know we just met, but I believe I have been nothing but true to my word. Even if we part ways, I will swear an oath to secrecy. Ye have nothing to fear from me. I believe him. I have spent so much time surrounded by the scum of the earth that I have forgotten that there are people out there whose sole purpose is not to make my life as miserable and brief as possible. I am 20. Oh, I thought it was less. You're almost a courtier then. He stops. Ye do know vampires measure their age from the day they rise again. Now that you mention it, I think my friend mentioned this the first day we met. Then I am 6 months old. It sounds wrong when I say it, as if who I was before did not matter, as if you could discard almost 2 decades of life experience on the ground that I was human when I had them. Loath thinks on it for a while. He looks angry. That ain't right, lass, that ain't right at all. Ye did not commit some sort of horrible crime, did ye? Besides existing, you mean? No. If you must know though, I have blood on my hands. All vampires do. This ain't right ta for someone so new to flee away. A yearling should feel the need to hunker down and nest for safety's sake. If you felt compelled to take the road, I dare not imagine what ye went though. I have no more questions, so just you know, I want to invite ye to live with me. I'll protect ye in return. There are a few things I can use your help with, ye being an immortal killing machine and all. I'll compensate ye of course, and it will be exciting work, ye can rely on that. Oh, and no biting me. Ask your questions. Before we start, I want to make it clear. I'm not performing any favor for anyone. Loth suddenly turns terribly embarrassed, his nose becomes even redder than usual. Again, I am so sorry for yesterday's indiscretion. I assumed ye were much older and vampires have a bit of a reputation for that. Please, forgive me. I have never taken a woman against her will and I shall never do so. Naturally, I will never expect anything of the sort. Please. Let us never speak of this again. Rest assured that I will never act in an untoward manner. My shame. It's all right, Loth, I reply, smiling. I believe you. I just needed to say it. Of course, of course. I do not have any questions at the moment. Tell me, what do you propose? It's simple enough, lass. I have a manor with a basement in the town of Higginsville, named after its founder, Philip Higgins. I met him, you know. A fine lad, a bit obsessed with garter belts and Rubenian. Loth? I was saying. A manor. I'll give ye a secure room and defend ye during the day. I'm one of the two town's doctors. They see me as a bit of an eccentric, a gentleman of science. Why, this one time, young Tim Lederson came to me and... Loth. Sorry, as the town doctor I will ask for blood donations in lieu of payment, ye see? I'll say it's for experiments. So ye can just drink fresh from a chalice. Ye'll need a few glasses per night and ye'll have to hunt on occasion, but it should be fine. In return, I'll need your help for a few things like hunting dangerous beasts, exploring caves, killing the odd brigand band and werewolf. Oh, and helping me carry heavy stuff. I only ask that you don't kill anyone from the town. Limit yourself to criminals and outcasts. I stared at Loth, who is now focused on the trail. He is giving me time to think. It sounds too good to be true. I could lay low in the remote town where no vampires would look for me, protected by a gentleman of repute who would defend and hide me out of his own free will. I could survive my most vulnerable years safely. I could build something. I could learn something. I could send letters to Jimena and Papa. I could live, as opposed to surviving. This is a very generous offer. It is. Is there a catch? No, there isn't, lass. Ye need to catch a break. I'll be happy to help. I wish someone had done it for me when I needed it. I won't kill people if I don't want to. Ha ha ha. Lass, far be it from me to force a vampire to kill. I won't break my word for you. And neither will I. I want it. I really want it now. If I want to leave I can, and you will let me go and swear an oath to secrecy. I want it. I want to try. Then open your palm and we shake on it. Be aware that you're a creature of magic now. Ye can lie but ye can't break an oath without breaking yourself. We slice our hands, him with a knife and I with a talon. We shake them without ceremony. A powerful wave of magic washes over both of us. I feel Loth's essence of mountain and steel and another one that smells of thorns and wet earth. It is done. I sit back into the chair and let the oath settle on me as the wound on my hand closes. This was strange and wonderful. This was an experience that I would never have thought possible a year ago. Perhaps, things do not have to be so bad. Half an hour later, we reached the edge of the valley where we met the Chata men. Asni is strong but also slow. I do not mind. We step down and walk to the statue, a totem apparently, and witness the approach of a strange procession. Nashoba walks with the help of two scowling women. He looks cleaner and tidier than yesterday. Minko walks at their side with a furious glare, while Iskani trails the two groups with the awkward look of the man caught between two friends arguing. They stop at 10 paces and Iskani shuffles forward, greets us both with a bow and asks us how the hunt went. Loth smiles and throws him a bag that smells of dead meat to me. The translator opens it and turns an interesting shade of green. Loth whispers in a sound that only I can hear. It's the other eyeball. I school my expression so I do not laugh. The man brings the trophy to his chief, who also grows noticeably paler. Yes, Minko, you are not impressing us very much with the tiny spear of yours. Iskani grabs a satchel and hands it to Loth. My companion checks the contents then nods. It is right to make sure he receives his proper reward, even if it is of little value to him. It is my turn. I extend my hand towards my supplicant. Nashoba tries to free himself from the grasp of the two women, but the left one holds him back and starts arguing with him and Minko. My hand is still out. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare break their word with me. I would have to teach them the consequences of their actions. I would have to make the lesson very thorough. HSSSSSSSS. I feel anger overcoming me. I feel the beast beneath the surface waking up. The valley freezes. Even the wind dies down. Loth's measured and soft voice slithers through the fog over my mind. You're not trying to renege on a deal with a pale one, are you? Because that would be a bad idea. In the silence that follows, Nashoba frees himself from the paralyzed woman with the barest of touch. Good, now I will kill only her. My supplicant places his hand in mine. The other one brushes the skin of my wrist. I look at him. With an innocent smile, he reaches into his pocket and takes out a pair of earrings. Today, his eyes are clear and focused. Gift. The pieces of jewelry are made of copper and transparent stone engraved with strange drawings. No matter how much I concentrate on them, they always appear out of focus. Nashoba closes my hand over the offering and slowly comes closer. He grabs one of my shoulders and offers me his throat. MMMH, perhaps there is no need to slay anyone tonight. All is as it should be. I hold him up as I feed. This is unexpected. He is, of course, delicious, but there is something more. His power resonates within me. There is something familiar that echoes with the refuge I find myself in. I stop long before I need to. I have taken my due, I do not need more. I lick the wound close. The shaman smiles one last time. He walks to the two women who pick him up and leave in a hurry. They do not meet my eyes. The two men look at me, at each other and follow suit. I did not know people could go that fast without running. Loth and I leave as well and settle on the steel carriage. Ye sure know how to leave an impression. Well done. You approve. I'd say ye left a warning without hurting anyone and it's the best outcome. I'd also say how you deal with oathbreakers is none of my business. Ye ready to go? Yes, I am ready and eager. Loth pokes Asni. Good, now I want to talk about your lair. All good lairs need to be hidden, protected and not worth the effort, as cousin Hokrai used to say. He is a locksmith. Nah, a thief. The carriage moves slowly into the night. Tope continued. Thanks for listening.